of an angel. Song has a weird meaning.
Yeah, the song's fucked up.
It's super fucked up. What is it with, like, I don't know, because...
It's a great music video, though.
Yeah. But it's, I feel like... yeah.
It's very 2000.
It's very 2000. Actually, one of my favorite music videos from that era is Tears Don't Fall.
I don't know what that
with Bullet for My Valentine. This chick gets cheated on, and then she goes to, like, set him on fire with a gas can, but at the end, she filled the gas can with water, and she just throws the match at him and the girl, and then they realize it's water, and she's like, that's what it feels like. Super fucking radio metal at that time. Avenged Sevenfold.
What's that song? Summer after high school when we first met. I'd be losing you. That one. In another life. That song?
It sounds like a musical.
It's Katy Perry, but that video is pretty good.
Oh, what? Do you remember the song? I don't remember that one.
I would be your girl. And we could... Indigo is so angry right now.
I mean, the main, like, Katy Perry song I really know is, like, Hot and Cold.
Yeah, I mean...
Hot and you're cold.
Kiss the Girl.
And you're no. Oh, yeah, everyone.
I Kissed the Girl.
And I liked it.
Anyways. Yeah, Lips of an Angel. He pulls on his scarves a lot. There's candles. Anytime someone sings
the entire song's about cheating on your
infidelity.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Well, anytime that song comes up and someone sings it, I always ask the person that sang it if they have seen the music video.
Oh,
and
yeah.
If they say no, I'm like, you need to watch the music video. It's dope.
It's just weird. I feel like a lot of dudes and like around our age really connect that song.
Funny enough, more women sing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've noticed that just when I notice it, when people sing it, it's usually what I would assume to be women are singing it of a certain age. And it's really funny because...
Is it close to our age?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's funny because it's like... And then more dudes I know that I have talked to about it realize how fucked up the song is. And it's just a difference of opinion because the man is like, wow, this guy's kind of a dick. And the woman is like, oh, I'm the girl he's talking to. They never put themselves in the shoes of the other girl. And it's a very interesting psychological thing where they're the girl he's talking to.
Because they want to be the one wanted.
Yeah. They're not the other one. They're not the one asleep next to him. It's very interesting.
Because the one in the next room.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting.
Like, nobody wants to be the one in the next room.
Yeah, but no one ever puts themselves in that shoes of...
Yeah.
But all the dudes are like, this guy's kind of an asshole.
It's like, yeah, it's like if I was talking to you, then it's like there's a reason. The girl in the next room has all the right to fucking leave me right now.
Yeah. And then even then, the other girl, also the girl he's talking to, is also an asshole.
Right? Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's sorry.
Fucking peaked there. But yeah, no, I've always found that very interesting. It's an interesting psychological exercise.
Yeah. All right, let's do this.
So, psychological exercise.
Yeah.
Look.
Who are you?
Psychological. This is Tommy.
This is Jake.
This is
Tommy
Psychological Mixtape. Welcome back, everyone.
Yo, what's up?
This is TJ's Mixtape. I'm Tommy. That's Jacob. We are two friends that do a movie review podcast. That's what you're listening to right now. We talk about movies, who made them, who's in them, kind of talk about some themes and plot points, and then give it a rating at the end. The rating is arbitrary and just how it made us feel. So, and if you're listening to this episode, we're reviewing My Old Ass.
Old Ass.
Another 2024 joint.
Yeah. But before we do that, we have our movie connection game, our Stars connection game.
That I forget to play.
Yep.
So, this is all you guys.
I meant to remind you, actually, and then I forgot again. I don't know. Yeah. You just need to fucking do it yourself. Put on your big boy pants.
Anyways, what's your connection?
Well, last week we left you with Amanda Seyfried. Seyfried?
Seafried. That's what I thought.
I mean, there's a Y in it, so I don't know. I think it is Seyfried, but I just say Seyfried.
You have give me the precious eyes.
Tattoo? What did you say?
You have give me the precious eyes. Ted 2.
Oh, yeah. I was like...
Do I have fuck me eyes? No, you have give me the precious eyes.
Amanda Seyfried to Julianne Moore, which it's funny you bring up Ted because that's the connection.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the connection?
Ted 2, she's in, Amanda Seyfried is in it with Mark Wahlberg, and he's in Boogie Nights with Julianne Moore.
I forgot that she was in that.
In Boogie Nights?
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Oh, great movie. Great movie. I watched it within the last 5 years, I want to say. Philip Seymour Hoffman, fantastic in it.
I mean, what's he not fantastic in?
Yeah.
It's Philip
Burt
Seymour
Reynolds,
Hoffman.
fantastic. Just everyone's fantastic.
Heather Graham.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So this is who I'm fucking? Okay. Whoop. And just jumps. She's good at her job.
So at the end of the episode, we'll give you 2 more. And if you thought of, you kind of won, though. That's kind of the point.
I feel like, honestly, if you just kind of, it's an easy one to kind of like click.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of the Marky Mark and movies like Instant Family, that's been playing a lot on FX.
I like that movie.
But yeah, getting back into my old ass. That's a fun way to say that.
If you've never seen it, a quick little synopsis is, after a mushroom trip, a young woman meets her future self who gives her dating and life advice.
Mushroom trips are weird in this movie.
They're pretty intense.
Yeah, I've never had a mushroom trip go like
Not
that.
quite like that.
No,
I don't.
I feel like an acid trip might go like that, but
No, I don't know. They're different, but I like mushroom more than acid.
I can microdose.
Like acid's kind of intense.
I've never done acid, but from what I've heard acid is one where
from what I've heard too,
is a much more intense hallucination.
Mushroom or acid?
Acid.
Yeah. From what I hear, it's weird, and I've said this to people, and they were like, "Oh, I get what you mean." If they've done both, acid feels very chemically, as opposed to mushrooms, which feel very natural. Allegedly,
until the devil talks to you.
Well, that was very natural. That wasn't
because
from the story. From the story I heard. This friend, acid gave him a chemical burn on their tongue.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a perfect little square.
That's weird.
When you were with the tab.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It's like, oh, that's I didn't know that could happen.
I wonder if they had something they were allergic to it.
Maybe that was why it felt chemically. I don't know. They did it once and went, not my thing. So never did it again. But back to my old ass. Did you like this movie?
Yeah.
Really? I really liked it.
Really?
I really did.
That's really weird.
I really
you
thought
were
it was
quiet
cute.
through the entire.
Yeah, because I was really invested. I thought it was really cute, and I thought it was really well acted.
I thought like 30 minutes into it, because you hadn't really laughed or said or anything. I was like, man, I think he really hates this movie.
No, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. But I'm a big sucker for coming of age stuff.
I mean, yeah.
I really like coming of age.
It's a very
stories.
strange coming of age because I feel like the actual story is wrapped in a coming of age story.
I think it hyper focused itself into the rom-com element a little too much. That's my biggest critique. For what the message got lost in the boy, and so. But I liked it.
Well, we'll get into more into that. When did it come out? Other than just last year.
January 20th at Sundance, and then a U.S. release September 13th.
Yeah, and this is still part of our blockbuster flops. Even though this one's kind of a weird one to be on that list that I found.
Mm.
I mean, it only made 15 million box office.
Yeah,
or 5 million. But I couldn't find a budget.
But the budget I found was in that 15 million too, because it was made and then Amazon promoted it and was going to stream it, and it had a limited release.
They really
so the numbers are kind of weird.
They put it in a limited release for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe just to check to see if they would get any type of so it could be nominated for something.
Yeah.
In some type of Golden Globe, blah blah blah, because it needs to have some type of theatrical release for that, I believe. And then I figured they knew they were gonna make their money through streaming stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it.
If you got Prime, you can watch it for free. But
Megan Park.
Yeah, I guess we'll get a writer and director, and then we'll talk about why we chose this movie as well, other than just the blockbuster.
But yeah, Megan Park is the writer director. This is her second.
Yeah, this is her second writer director film. Her first one was The Fallout with Jenna Ortega, and I think was Maddie Ziegler in that too. Did you
Yes,
look at it?
she was.
Okay.
Yes.
And that movie seems to follows the post effects of a teenager after a school shooting, which sounds like a pretty intense thing. I've seen clips from it though. I want to say
She's in Charlie Bartlett.
yes, she is. I was getting ready. She's more known as an actress in Charlie Bartlett, Secret Life of an American Teenager.
I love that movie. I would like to watch that again, actually.
Why did I write What If?
Because she's in What If.
Oh, the movie What If. I was thinking Marvel's What If.
No. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and the movie What If with Daniel Radcliffe and Adam Driver. Yeah, that's a funny ass movie actually.
Isn't The Secret Life of the American Teenager just like a dramatized teen mom?
Kinda, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was at ABC. I think it ran
Thing.
for like 5 or 6 seasons.
That's what I was gonna. Okay.
What were you thinking? Like
It's we'll talk about it off mic. It was a
Okay.
conversation we were having yesterday, and I don't really want to get into it on here.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm really. It seems that I like the Megan Parks indie perspective, and I feel like she's got a good voice. I'm curious to see where she goes because this is her sophomore film, and I feel like the characters are very well flushed out. Maybe she might have a better chance more as a writer than director because directing this seemed just very straightforward. But yeah, we'll see where she goes. Writer and director Megan Park.
Yeah.
And then the selling point for us was who was in the movie for disappointingly short amount of time.
Yeah, it was so our star who plays young Elliott is Maisy Stella.
That's not the person who we watched it for.
But we saw that Maisy Stella was in that.
This is Maisy Stella's film debut.
And then her older counterpart is Aubrey Plaza, which we were like
Aubrey.
What'd I say?
Audrey.
Oh. Aubrey. Sorry, Aubrey. Aubrey Plaza. And we're big Aubrey Plaza fans and have been pretty much our whole career, actually.
I'm actually kind of curious to ask you, because we both kind of like, if Aubrey Hall's in it, I kind of want to watch it just to watch her. Even though she kind of always does the same like April Ludgate type of character-ish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So is it because we just like watching that character? What is it with Aubrey Plaza that like draws you to it? I mean, because she's really good at what she does, and she is a good actress, but she doesn't have like extreme, like she's not super transformative. You know what I mean?
No, but it's kind of what we were talking about before we were recording too.
Like a comfort food type thing.
Well, no, she just doesn't oversaturate herself.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know? Where was she born?
I think in New York or something.
She was born in Delaware.
Yeah. Okay. She has northeast vibes to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aubrey Plaza, if you're not familiar with her, she is April Ludgate in Parks and Recreation. She was recently in Agatha All Along. Done some kind of raunchy comedy movies like Mike and Dave Need a Wedding Date and Dirty Grandpa. Independent movie like Safety Not Guaranteed.
Life After Beth.
She's done a lot of stuff, but like I feel like her biggest recognizable thing would be Parks and Rec.
Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, yeah, and she's in Scott Pilgrim.
For a
She's in
bit.
Funny People
Yeah. That's what that image was from.
with Seth Rogen.
Yeah. I was like, what is that movie? I forgot about Funny People.
I've been meaning to rewatch that. I remember because
I remember liking it.
Tangent. I've always been a huge Judd Apatow fan, like starting from Freaks and Geeks, obviously, and then Undeclared. And 40-Year-Old Virgin is when I realized, I was like, there's a similar person trending in that. So I've always been, wanted to watch all of his stuff. And Funny People, I remember being very, very interested in going to see it in theaters and being disappointed, actually.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of more along the lines of like This Is 40. You know how like
God, I love This Is 40.
like
Yeah.
Knocked Up in This Is 40, it's like it's a sequel in a way, but it's
a loose sequel. Yeah,
but it's different. It's very different and more of a grounded kind of comedy. Funny People to me kind of leans more into the This Is 40 as opposed to like 40 Year Old Virgin.
Yeah, well, and like I feel like the thing that disappointed me with Funny People is that I felt like there was 2 different movies in one movie.
It's kind of depressing, but it's funny. Like 40 Year Old Virgin is like there is no like really heavy commentary.
It's goofy and the fun adventure type thing.
And then like This Is 40 and Funny People is finding the humor out of a darker situation, like a marriage falling apart.
But that wasn't my
cancer.
problem with Funny People. My problem with Funny People was its actual like narrative. Well, not narrative. It's story structure. It felt like it was 2 different movies, like just in general.
Okay. I mean, I like.
I was just saying.
I like Judd Apatow more in that lane.
And that's fair, yeah.
Than like 40 Year Old.
I mean, I still like everything. I don't think I've watched a Judd Apatow movie that I didn't really like. I was just disappointed.
Knocked Up.
I think that's more of Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. I think that was just produced by Judd Apatow.
I don't like Knocked Up.
But anyway.
And also Leslie Mann is in 40 Year Old Virgin a lot. And she's awesome.
She's very short period in that.
In what?
40 Year Old Virgin?
No, I mean,
Knocked
This
Up?
Is 40.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
This is 40, yeah.
She's really fucking funny.
He hit it out of the park with that one.
Yeah, I can't.
Leslie Mann's hilarious.
Yeah, she's so funny.
Okay, but yeah, getting back to this, Maisy Stella, who plays young Elliott, our other star, we said, yeah, this is her film debut. She was in the show Nashville, which I just found out what that show was about. I didn't know, had any idea of what that show was.
Mm-mm.
Hayden Panettiere is in it. Aging country singers in Tennessee. I was like, okay. And then the other person
went on for a long time.
Yeah, just not my kind of show. Just went under out of my radar.
Yeah,
but I mean, obviously it was a show that people liked. And then I wrote Percy Hynes White, who is Chad, our guy love interest in this, who is also in Wednesday, and The Gifted, which was a very short ran Marvel Fox mutant TV show.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, you didn't look it up?
No.
It's pretty much like...
I didn't click on The Gifted.
Oh.
I was like, yeah, that didn't sound... The Gifted. Oh, yeah, it looks terrible.
Fox Marvel. It's wild at the time that it came out, 2017 to 2019. It's like in the thick of it, of the MCU.
In a Fox world has where mutated humans are treated with distrust and fear, an institute for mutants battles to achieve peaceful coexistence with humanity.
And Fox has the audacity to try to, ride the wave with Marvel's name, doing some like knockoff mutant
X-Men
academy
thing. Yeah, it looks terrible.
Yeah, it does. It looks fucking like Fox bad. It's so weird. Like Fox, their shows are either like a huge like knock out of the park and like really live in their like lane, or they just try way too many weird things to just fucking collapse. You know what I mean? This week on Fox 24. What's fucking his character's name?
I don't know.
Okay.
Kiefer?
Kiefer Sutherland's character, yeah.
No, I never watched 24.
Gonna save the president again. He's got 14 hours left. Can he save his daughter as well, played by Alicia Cuthbert?
He's actually... I'm like wondering...
Are you looking at Percy?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I've seen him in more and just... He had such a growth spurt. Oh,
yeah.
There's a bunch of movies he's been in that I've seen. I just don't recognize.
Like what are... just really quick.
Well, I was looking at his photos because he had such a growth spurt.
I know. He went from a awkward, goofy-looking kid to kind of a goofy, charming...
Yeah, like Night at the Museum, Defiance, A Christmas Horror Story.
I did see Night at the Museum.
Like he's kind of been around Our House. Is that what I think it is? I mean,
He's kind of been around Our House. What?
Device amplifies paranormal activity. Yeah, like I've just seen him in stuff. I wonder when his growth spurt happened.
Maybe right before this goddamn movie.
No, because he's crazy tall on Wednesday.
Oh, it's fair.
He's a very tall guy. Like, especially against like standing.
Did you watch Wednesday?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's not... I don't think it's good, but...
Yeah.
It's Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's all that shit.
Is it still and it's Tim Burton too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you have anyone else?
No. That was pretty much. I mean, there's more people in this.
There's a very small cast. It's really just like there's Elliott, young Elliott, adult Elliott.
Her two friends, Maddie Ziegler and Carice Brooks, who I looked at their lists. And
Mom, dad, two brothers, and then the other girl, and Chad. There's like 10 people in this movie.
Yeah. And even with Alexandra Rivera, who plays the first love interest, you see her face maybe twice.
She got like maybe
3.
5 minutes at most of screen time.
And I think this is her only thing. So.
Very, very indie-ass independent movie.
Yeah, and it's good. Go watch it. Like in this photo, he's towering over Jenna Ortega, and he's leaning over. Like he's like.
I wonder how tall Jenna Ortega is.
Short. She seems tiny.
Yeah.
And everything I've seen, Scream and everything, she looks
like 5'1".
Yeah, she's tiny, little. Granted, she's very petite too, so
Yeah.
that might be part of it. And he's very skinny and long.
Yeah.
So
well, it's like Natalie Portman's like 5'1", but like her screen presence makes her seem much like a little bit bigger than that. She's a small woman, but
I'm curious now. How tall is he? Yeah, he's 6'2".
yeah. Like I said, I figured he's not. He looks a lot taller.
Yeah, he's an inch taller than me.
Yeah.
But he just looks.
Because he's just all limbs. Jack Skellington.
You took my joke.
Yeah.
You stole my joke.
Jesus.
Give us our scores.
I was going to say, you ready to go into reviews?
Yeah, give us our scores.
All right. So on IMDb, this has got a 6.9, which I felt was very fitting. Maybe a little high, honestly. I don't know why. But I think the Rotten Tomatoes scores are ridiculously high.
I think 6.9 is pretty fitting.
Because this is a 90% tomato meter.
Yeah.
And an 89% popcorn meter.
Popcorn is the critics, right?
No.
Reversed.
Audience. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Popcorn. You eat popcorn as an audience member. Think about that.
And
tomato meter. Because it's the Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, and you're throwing them.
Yeah.
Is that the joke?
Yes. Did you just now get that?
I never really cared to think about it.
Oh.
To be honest.
That's fair. That's fair.
In this day and age, it's a website. I don't know. Like the show's called TJ's Mixtape. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, we were hitting our head against the wall and something stuck and we rolled with it,
Yeah.
So yeah, a Metacritic, it makes sense to me because of what it is. And I think also the fact that this is a second film for a director, it's a good start. It's like, all right, like, is this groundbreaking? No, but it's also something that's pretty tropey when it comes to coming of age and young love and sexual identity and stuff.
But the way that it's also approached, I think, is kind of a fresh new way.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think you give credit where credit's due, and it's like, okay, you took this thing and you kind of ran with it, and it turned out pretty good. Like, is it great? No, but you could have really shit the bed and you didn't.
Yeah.
So a Metacritic, this has a 74, which comes to generally favorable with 39 positive, 5 mixed, and 1 negative.
Fair.
At the tippy top with 100 by Mick LaSalle at the San Francisco Chronicle. If you want to see great acting that's unadored, not fancy, and very much in the style of 2024, see Plaza in the climactic scene of Mild Ass. You'll walk out of this film different than when you walked in and a little bit better for the experience.
That's a really high praise of
for
the film, but I do agree with the acting.
Oh, shit. I forgot to put down the score. And I made a note to see the New York Times, and I remember at the New York Times. There we go. At the New York Times by Alyssa Wilkinson, who gave it a 90. It's as much about reframing middle-aged regrets as it is a story about youth, love, and possibility, and thus the emotional heft it wields is two-pronged.
I really like that one.
Yeah, I liked that one too.
I think that one's kind of the closest.
Yeah.
to kind of like where I was going, what I was writing down.
And then for the mix, I got to scroll down a minute here. Give me a second. With a 58 at the film stage by Jordan Ropp, my old ass yearns to go down easy and exceeds as such. But one wishes it dug a bit deeper into its Pollyanna-ish script and aesthetic.
What?
Pollyanna-ish.
What does that mean?
Pollyanna was a series of children's books, and Pollyanna would be forced into situations and would always try to find the bright side of it. That was like her shtick. So it's a reference to those books.
When were these books? Side tangent with these books.
I don't remember.
Did you have to look that up to understand?
I
that?
remembered what it was. I remembered Pollyann, but I was like, I don't know what this means. And then I looked up Pollyann again. Okay. Pollyanna.
But then you had a memory of Pollyanna.
I had a memory of Pollyanna. Based on the books Pollyanna by Eleanor H. Porter. Pollyanna is a 1913 novel by American author.
1913, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a 60s movie.
I just needed to know the era.
It was like a whole thing. But yeah, so she would be forced in situations and then she would try to find the silver lining in them. And she was very positive and upbeat.
And so they were saying that they feel like that's what Elliott's character is.
One wishes it dug deeper a bit into its Pollyannish. So everything's going to be okay and it's all going to work out. Like the way I took it is Jordan saying it's very surface level. Like it could, and kind of what I was saying is like about, it really focuses on the rom-com element and you're kind of like, it kind of is veering in a direction where it's really going to be about quality time with the people you care about.
Yes.
But then much like youth, it all becomes about the love interest, that becomes your hyper focus, and the family again now is taking the wayside because now all of her time is to him. And, so that's what I kind of thought, and then the one negative all at the bottom I
just really wanted to critique that critique.
Why?
Because I just didn't like how their reference. I just didn't like.
Because you didn't get the reference?
Yes.
Well. With a 30 by Zachary Barnes at Wall Street Journal. When it comes to taking this premise in interesting directions, however, Miss Park proves inept.
Sorry, one more time.
When it comes to taking the premise in interesting directions, Miss Park proves inept.
Okay.
And I went to go read the whole thing, and I didn't want to because it's the Wall Street Journal, and you can only read like so much before you.
What's the name of the person that wrote it?
Zachary Barnes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't want to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, so I did think about I halfway through the movie, I just kind of thought funnily, this is like a Marvel's What If you wanted to, you wanted to protect yourself from falling in love with someone who dies.
Yeah, I mean.
So an interesting thing about this movie, we'll get into it. That we don't have to explore down that joke. It becomes clear and concrete at the end of the movie, but you're kind of up in the air about this whole future Elliott, future Elliott to present Elliott, and whether or not this younger Elliott present Elliott. It's some type of psychological break or just like drug infused.
Well, because the first time they meet is on a mushroom trip.
On a mushroom
trip. So
yeah.
You're under the guise that she's imagining this, and then like you said at the end of the movie.
But it also comes. That is the inciting action, is that the drugs bring them together because future Elliott has to take a shitload of edibles to get back.
That's a good way of doing it, too. I was kind of thinking about it in the sense of most, and maybe this isn't correct, but I was just kind of like, in most time travel things, what breaks the movie is the science behind the time travel. You get too much explaining on how it works.
Yeah.
And then people start to really lose, but this is like, they got high and they can now meet. And you're just kind of like, okay. there isn't really a room to explain. And you're just like, okay.
You can like really dig deep into this and like explain a metaphorical like idea of what this movie is actually saying about, you know, talking with yourself and sense of drug use and whatnot, like psychotherapy type stuff, or but drug therapy types of psychotherapy. But I mean, that's kind of like not the point of the movie at all. It was just kind of it was a fun device to create this kind of like in a magical, realistic, absurdist premise in a very grounded world.
Well, it's kind of like here. It's like, it's a pretty, I was sitting there, and what I think I also liked about, I like a movie where...
You like a movie with good dialogue.
I do, and the dialogue's really good.
Honest dialogue.
Yeah, it's very easy A. You know, I think that movie has great dialogue too.
It's
again,
good, yeah.
Feels
very honest.
Very coming of age. There you go. Very coming of age, and I think that's what I like about it. I like when the dialogue is really good. I'm a sucker for dialogue, and that's another one. Easy A has really great dialogue.
Well, and as long as also the dialogue is delivered well, and I will say the acting in this movie, even by it's from Maisy Stella, she's very genuine.
She is so cute.
Yeah,
and she has, and I don't mean in like a way. I just mean like she's really cute. She's really down to earth. She's someone that you like. You know, she has this really close bond with her friends, and they all just kind of have this just chilling out vibe. You know, this go with the flow Canadian farmer girl community. I
would love to sit down with like a Gen Z person and be like, is this a good, accurate depiction of your generation?
Well, but then you'd have to get more specific with it, because this is a cranberry farmer out in Canada.
Yeah.
Small town Gen Z person.
Is this a good, accurate depiction of your generation? I could speak to one of them and they don't speak for everyone.
Yeah, they don't. They are telepathically connected. I don't know. That is an upgrade that they got. What was that movie where all the men are...
The Tom Holland and
what was that
Ridley
called?
Movie? I can't remember. Chaos something?
I want to watch that. Did you ever watch that?
Chaos Theory? No, I didn't.
No, Chaos Theory is a Ryan Reynolds movie. I totally sidetracked myself. She was really down to earth. The dialogue was really great. Oh, I mentioned if you try to explain the science of time travel, because even like Back to the Future, it's the DeLorean, and that's kind of it. And then they make a flux capacitor, and you just kind of have to go, okay. Like, and I think that if you're gonna make a time travel movie, that's probably the safest.
Okay.
You just kind of have to have your audience go, okay. Like, and that was
eat the carrot. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was this movie was just, there it is. Boom, got there. I just had to repeat myself for a second. Well, and what I really liked about the movie was the dialogue, but also sitting there, I really find it fun when it kicks off your writer mind. And not in the sense of, I would rewrite that because I thought it was stupid. That's just negative and rude to do. But to sit there and go, okay, this is kind of an interesting concept. How would I do it? And I thought this whole older self meeting younger self thing is really fun, because in time travel too, you always have to avoid your other self because you're going to cause a space-time continuum imploding and you're going to end the universe. This was very like they were actively conversing and looking for each other. And they don't really do that very often in time travel stuff. So I was like, that's kind of interesting. And, you know, you get older, and I think it was this really great blend of both the younger Jen watching it, and it's about first love, and she gets confused about her sexuality because this is the first guy that she's ever really been into. And
she thought she was gay.
She thought she was gay, and she's like, maybe I'm poly, and we never get a full arc of her figuring that out, but that's not the point of the movie. Yeah. And then you have Aubrey Plaza, which was really a wasted moment, I think. That's kind of
What do you mean by wasted moment?
I just wish she was in it more.
But does she need to be in it more?
No, but I don't think it would have hurt. I think you could have overdone it really easily, but I don't think she was in it enough. And like, just like the gag of like, she's in like the future is like World War III or some really
Something that's
terrible,
happening, we don't know.
really terrible thing, and they didn't go into over explaining it, which I really appreciated.
I was like, I really missed that. Eat some
Yeah,
salmon before you can.
Yeah, just little dialogue again,
Yeah.
just little things, or like they're on the phone. Get up! You hear the air horn, the air raid.
It's like, sorry, I gotta go.
Get in the basement now! And you're like, oh shit. But she comes back to warn her about
Chad,
which could we also have picked a different name?
They're taking it back.
Chad. Like when she's like, you got to stay away from Chad. She's like, why? I'm like, because his name is Chad. That's why.
Well, yeah, that's.
I actually don't think I've actually ever met a Chad.
I'm pretty sure I have. But
You know a Chad?
You gotta also remember, like, the name Chad and even like the name Kyle, the name Karen. These are all names that have a stigma because of a certain generation and like a moment in time that we have stuck to.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't talking about that. I just don't like the name Chad.
You just don't like the name Chad?
No. Like Chadwick? Yeah, Chadwick's cool.
Yeah.
Chadwick's a cool name. Hey, Chadwick.
So you don't think the name Chad, there's any type of cultural influence?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I said is I'm not even thinking about that. I just don't like the name Chad.
And I'm saying you don't think that cultural influence has made you not like the name
No,
Chad.
I just think it's an ugly word. Chad. Hi, Chad. It just doesn't roll off it's not Chadwick. Chadwick. Hello, I am Chadwick. It sounds, Chad sounds, what is it? What is an onomatopoeia? It sounds like that, Chad. It's like a thing. A door slamming. Chad.
Chad Daniels.
See? But even then, we call him Chad Daniels, and it works because it just flows. You don't go, yeah, I was listening to Chad the other day. You say, I was listening to Chad Daniels. It's abrupt. It's very... Sorry if there's any Chad listening. It really went off on the tangent. He pushed me into it.
Anyway.
He pushed me.
One of the things that I wrote was as how this story is more about old Elliott's journey of acceptance hidden inside of a coming-of-age story of a younger person.
Yes.
And I think that's why I really like that second review that you brought up, because it says that it's like double-pronged in a way of the story. Because really what it comes down to is like, so when older Elliott appears to younger Elliott, she's like, just avoid anybody named Chad. And Elliott keeps asking older self, why? What did he do? What did he do? What did he do? And it's really nothing that he actually does. It's, spoiler, if you don't want to know, but
yeah,
we've already kind of said it a couple of times, but Chad dies, and
we don't see the moment that he dies.
No,
which is important because it's the fear of the future.
Exactly.
And what it kind of is too, there's a lot of parental bit to it.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents warn you, don't do this, don't do that, and then it's not until you do it, and then years later you're like, yeah, they were right about that. I should have really put more stock into that. And that's kind of also the dynamic that they're having too, because she doesn't want to tell her.
But it's interesting as well as like with like, whatever conflict is happening in the future that we keep hearing, her only focus is don't do anything with Chad. Stay away from Chad. Not like, how can we help prevent this thing? Or be prepared for this. It's just stay away from Chad. Just stay away from Chad. Which says a lot about this older one and really how much it hurt them.
Yeah.
And how they're having a hard time moving on. And they're just trying to protect their young selves from that pain. But then younger Elliott then is just like, confronts her after finding it out. It's like, no, I would rather have that time with him and feel that pain, because that's what the reality is. That's what being human is. I'd rather have these moments of love and miss him.
Well, she takes the lesson that she was teaching her.
Yeah.
Basically. It's like she was telling her to spend more quality time with her family and stuff like that. And the younger her actually takes that lesson, and it kind of clicks for her by the end of the movie.
Yeah, and then older Elliott realizes that, it's like, oh, there is no, I shouldn't be preventing some of the best moments of my life. I should be appreciating those. So it really, it's in a coming of age story. It's really about the older Elliott coming to terms with the death of their first big love.
Yeah, and I guess you can't really know unless you know. But it's like first love is already such a bitch. But your first love dying is a whole other kit and caboodle
Yeah.
of trauma. I didn't mean to laugh about that. Death makes me uncomfortable, so it makes me laugh. It's very...
You've never been faced with death yet.
That's
in
not
this
true.
same way.
I have, but it just makes me very uncomfortable. It doesn't really make me uncomfortable. I think it makes other people uncomfortable, which then makes me uncomfortable. And then that's my defense mechanism.
I'm one of the few people that's just kind of like, yeah, fucking we all die. People are dead. I know dead people. Well, I knew dead people? How do you say that?
Depends on your...
I see dead people.
Depends on your ideology behind it, I guess. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to say it. If it's because it's an ideology.
I know people who are no longer alive. Is that the safe way to say it?
I don't think there's any... That's what I'm saying. There's no safe way to say it. You can say it however you want. There's not...
I know people who fuck kick the bucket, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. There you go. Was putting... Next thing I know, I'm a worm feast. I'm really...
Where's that from?
Scrooged.
Oh, yeah.
When he meets his boss.
Yeah.
The ghost of Christmas Past. Or his partner.
Yeah.
Marley and Marley.
Whoa!
What are we watching on Christmas? And you're like, oh, I want to put on... And I'm like, no, you're not doing that.
No, we watched Scrooged, and then I was going to put on a Muppets Christmas Carol.
And I was like, no, you're not doing
We just watched that story. I was like, oh, yeah.
I don't want to watch it.
Yes, it is.
I don't want a fucking marathon of
a Christmas Carol.
Thank you very much.
I should have put on girlfriends of...
See, that's more interesting to me.
What is it?
Ghost... Shh. Ghost of Girlfriends Past.
Thank you.
It's like you're trying to sing a song. Shut up.
Ghost of girls.
You're fucking me up. You're fucking me up.
All right. Anywho, okay. The act. So yeah, the thing that really got me invested in this movie was Maisy Stella's like really genuine acting. And the dialogue is so well written. The chemistry that she has with Percy as Chad is super cute.
Well, and that's the thing. I give Stella a lot of credit. She's one of... We were talking about the other day, too. She kind of has chemistry with everyone. Mm-hmm. And I think she's... And obviously, because we're following her the most, we can only base it off of her. She seems to be the common denominator. And she just seems... Every little... that scene with her mom and even that fight she gets into with her dad. It's like there is a lot of chemistry and you really feel like, yeah, this is our brother.
Like her awkward brother, yeah.
Yeah, this is our brother. This is our father. And it felt very genuinely like... Not like, oh, mom. It was like... very sweet.
Well, that moment she has with her mom when she goes like after her mom's like, "You're very intelligent."
And then gets in her lap and gets cradled again. Yeah, it was very sweet. It was a very sweet movie, and that's with something like this. That's really all you're looking for.
It's crazy is that with all of these like little sweet moments, I guess what my biggest complaint with this movie really was the spoon feeding music. Composition.
Yeah, but I mean, the cinematography was great.
The cinematography also felt pretty generic to me. Just like really super up to close indie style.
Yeah, but
there's very beautiful moments of like the scenery and whatnot.
Well, yeah, wherever they are in Canada. Where was it again?
Lake Muskoka.
Waka.
Moose.
That might have been very, very offensive. What I just did. I don't know. And I apologize if it was.
We're losing the trade tariffs anyway. Who cares?
I'm very sorry to any
Canadian
or Indigenous people, or I just totally...
Oh, I didn't even think about the Indigenous thing.
Yeah, you didn't think about that, did you? That's the problem, Jacob. You didn't think about it. But yeah, Lake whatever. And it was just really gorgeous.
It's like Muskakau or Muska.
Stop. Just stop. Stop digging the hole. We're done. We moved on. But I thought, but that's the thing. It just had this, for being a 2024 movie, it felt like a cool little indie from 2008 kind of vibe to me. It just reminded me of like almost like a Juno, or it had that, not in the writing so much, but the aesthetic of it had this real, like almost curated indie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This is indie, and you're like, is it though?
It didn't really have a quirkiness to it like some of those did.
But you see what I'm saying,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And that's what I'm saying, because the quirkiness came from a lot of the writing
Yeah.
and the character development.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't really have that quirkiness. This was more...
It's like
This was store-bought indie.
store-bought indie.
But I liked it.
That is an interesting... The band name, actually.
Store-bought indie.
Or maybe a good album name.
I mean, yeah, like game developer. That'd be actually kind of a funny game developer.
Store-bought indie.
Store-bought indie.
Anywho.
But yeah, I really liked the aesthetic, and weirdly enough, I didn't really notice the music, so maybe that's how generic it was.
Yeah, and well, it's like it really screamed out to me in its like final like, I really like you. I really really like you.
Stop copying me. That thing.
Yeah. Because when I get to the point where it's like I'm noticing the composition and I start predicting the musical beats is when I know that I'm like, this is like they're forcing the moment.
Yeah.
With this. And it also just felt super, I guess like because of the coming of age story, it just felt really, it was a fresh take on something super generic.
Well, but it was also, but that's the thing, is that every now and then you do want to watch a movie that is just easy to digest and easy to swallow. Yeah. And this was really nice because of the two-pronged thing, is that you can sit there and be in your 30s and you're like, oh, I totally get Aubrey Plaza and wanting to change things, because I feel like that. And especially when it comes to young love and all that, you know, it's like these are all things that really strike home for people. So you can sit there and be like, yeah. And then you can really, young Elliott, you can really hook on to because you remember being that. Yeah. You know?
Or you are that at that
or
time.
you are that. And that's what I think. And then if you are that age, you're sitting there and you could be kind of like, why is old Elliott being such an old ass, you know? Yeah. And then we finally get the reveal of why. And then even as I feel like a young person could sit there and be like, oh, wow, that really sucks. Mm-hmm. I do just think that moment at the end, though, with our big revelation and young Elliott having her speech was probably actually the worst written moment in the movie.
Because it's the most movie-ass moment.
It was really preachy and it felt very scripted. That was the one moment in which I was like, oh, this is not the moment you want to lose that steam with your dialogue. I mean, because she even says, it's
like they landed, but they didn't stick the landing.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're like, I just forgot how intelligent I was at this age. And you're like, that was weird. Just weird stroking your own ego moment. Because then like that, like there are kind of moments you forget that are the same person because of the difference, and then you get reminded, and that one was the most unnatural kind of like, oh yeah, we're the same, you or me, and I'm gonna be you, you know.
Let me touch my ass.
That was like, it was funny when that scene happened. I was like, that feels like a total dude move to write that into a movie, and I was like, oh no, but he said this was Megan Park, right? Who? Okay, interesting. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, I'd probably do the same thing.
What? Want to
kiss my younger me? Why not? I do a lot of stuff for the story. You know what I mean?
You do? Oh, just be like,
I did that. I swam with sharks. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of just the...
We did a Dutch rudder. You know what that is?
No. That's not... no, thank you, Satan.
What is that? It's a...
y'all motherfuckers.
Zach and Mary make a
y'all motherfuckers need Jesus. My ass, my hurts.
But...
What is up with the movie quotes today? They're random. They're really random ones, too.
Yeah, we're all over the place. I really don't have... I don't really have much more else to say.
No, because it's very short and sweet, and it's an hour and 38 minutes, which I need a little bit longer, because my biggest critique is the hyper focus on the love interest thing, but that's also the trauma that they wrote with older Elliott that she's trying to resolve. I do think it was kind of a broader thing about the slipping of time from your fingertips and from your hands, then you need to spend more time with Chadwick and your family. And, you know, I think that that's the one thing that I feel like if they had leaned into that more, I would have been way more into it.
Actually, here's a really interesting, a lot of like a big theme, I guess, in this movie is about the time that you spend with those you love, and how the moments you take for granted.
Yeah.
And a thing that kind of like encapsulates a big part of this movie that really like rang true to me, and I'm now kind of thinking about, is when she realizes that the family is selling.
That's
the
funny.
farm.
I was just about to bring that up too, because I was thinking about the comparison between the end, the climactic scene, and that scene, and you're like, that's a really quiet, brutal scene, because her world just shattered, and she seems to be the only one that cares, because they just assumed that she wouldn't care,
because she just has been ready to move on and go and do this thing.
Yeah, and it just
do her own life. But then such an honest moment and line, and very true. Like, I feel like this is a very true thing for a lot of people, is when she says, like, yeah, I was so ready to get out of here, but I always thought it would be here to come back to.
Yeah.
And now that it's gone, or they're selling it, I'm realizing that I have to say goodbye now.
Well, and there's like things too I have to remind of our, like, that we do this podcast and we were watching movies and we're always kind of critiquing them, even if we're not doing it for this and blah, 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 blah. But even that scene where Chad is explaining the last time you went and played with your friends thing.
Yeah.
If you know that conversation, that feels really tropey. But if you're younger and that was a good first introduction to that thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you've heard it before, you're like, oh, and she's like, wow, they're so deep, Chad. And you're like, no, that's
really deep. It is kind of deep, honestly.
No,
just
but again, it depends on your perspective. It's
Yeah.
like, have you heard that before? Yeah, I've, the one day you pick up your kid and it's the last time you're going to pick him up and you just didn't know it. And, it's I've heard that a lot, mainly from parents about their children. Not really. It was interesting.
It's the moments that you don't realize, and these are the moments you want to hold on to.
Yeah. But you don't really hear it from a young person perspective. Usually it's someone that's in parenthood or something like that. But, I thought that was a good introduction to that. And then, that whole scene where, her world kind of shatters and she seems to be the only one to care. You really felt it. And it was like, there's worse things that could happen. Obviously, we live on this planet and hear and see them every day. But it's like, for a movie and this young girl's, from her story and her perspective, it's like, that's a pretty big deal. Your family home that not only has been your family home, but been your family home for generations is just going to be basically chopped up and turned into other people's property, and the lake she swims in is going to be not available, and and she really nailed it with that kind of reaction. And I just thought it was a great move to have everyone else really have processed it and have moved on. And then her frustration of being like, why is no one else upset with me? And they're like, because we've
already grieved. We've already gone through.
And then there's the anger of, well, why did no one tell me? Because we thought you would.
Fucked up.
And then we assumed that you wouldn't care. And then that makes her feel like shit and feel like they're assholes. It was just,
Well, it makes her feel like shit, and to think, but it's kind of a reality check for her because
of the way she's been presenting herself. As the I don't care asshole. And then, so there's like, it's really, and that's what's great. It's great writing, is like, there's a lot going on very subtly and a lot of emotions. And that's why she has that reaction, because there's anger and then shame and then sadness and then anger again because they didn't tell her, but then shame because I've been a dick, and then sadness. And, it's just this kind of, and you're like, especially at 18 and you're young and dumb and you don't really know how to process your emotions very well yet. And I'm 32 and still don't know how to. So
you never really fully learn how to process them.
You get a little bit better.
And
then you get bad again.
Get off my lawn.
You forget how to process certain emotions as you get better at other emotions.
And
you're like, God damn it, I really learn how to process this emotion again.
You just switch.
Recalibrate.
You just switch from repressing. You just go through cycles. Let's repress this one.
Okay, so we have some good praise for this movie. Out of curiosity, what do you think prevented this movie from being on the shelf with Oscar movies that, you know, kind of like The Substance or, you know.
It just didn't break the mold enough.
Like, what do you mean by that?
It's a coming of age gimmick movie.
Okay.
It's like just not, because I mean, I don't know. Think of like here's another good one. 17 again.
Wait, with Zac Efron?
No, with the Edge of 17. That's what I
Oh,
meant.
okay. I was like, what?
No, like Edge of 17.
I never saw that. I really want to. Still.
That's a great coming of age movie. Doesn't really break the mold, but again, it's
Woody
the performance.
Harrelson, Hailey Stenfield.
Yeah, like it's the
Haley.
performances and the dialogue and, you know, like sex
yeah.
for all these things and what really makes
awkward moments.
the awkward moments and what you really, the way I think you really nail it is you have to give a really good amount of time between the youth and the adults and really balance that out so you get both worlds, you know. So like Woody Harrelson in that is the teacher,
Yeah.
and she's going to him and he doesn't want it. He does not want to be involved with her, and like in the sense of being her mentor, and she will not take no for an answer, and he's forced into all these situations, and their dynamic, and it's like they only have 3-4 scenes together, but
God damn it, what are you doing to me?
their dynamic is great, you know. But that movie isn't, coming of age movies just really aren't that interesting, and they don't really break the mold, but that's kind of the comfort in them.
Yeah.
Is the familiarity, is the sitting there and being like, oh yeah, shit, I remember my first embarrassing sexual text or whatever, that, you know, that these moments that you, the idea is for you to again feel the shame, and
Shame.
kind of sit in it with them, you know. And I just don't think as a genre they really get to that level, and if they do, there's something like Moonlight, really heavy and really intense, and then they jump up to that level, because at the end of the day a lot of Moonlight is a coming of age film.
It really is, yeah.
But it's really fucking intense
Because there's a lot
and it's
in it.
great. That was my Mogwai for that year. I still love that movie. I thought that was a phenomenal movie. Am I gonna sit there and casually watch it again? No. Edge of 17? Yeah, because it's easily digestible.
Because it's fun.
Because it's fun. And it's awkward. It's not sad. It's awkward. Like, because even this, you know, that whole, this he's gonna die thing in this movie, it's a bittersweet note, because it is, yeah, he's gonna die, but enjoy, she wants these memories with him, even if it breaks her heart somewhere down the line. And that's just what I think. I think just as a genre, it's like, yeah, it's going to stay in this nice little comfort, fluffy in the cloud zone. And then you can push it up there, and you're going to have to really change the theme and motif, and you're going to have to really buckle down and get ready for a ride.
I think one of the things that kind of, you know, I think the premise of the doing drugs and seeing your older self is kind of, it's a weird cop-out that works for this movie, but it's just a weird, since it's not grounded in an actual reality in a movie that's grounded in so much reality, it feels weird, but you just kind of accept it because that's just what this movie is. Because the movie is not really about that. It's about, you know, holding on to the moments in time that you take for granted.
Yeah.
This movie felt very much like a play in a lot of senses to me. With the intimacy of it.
Yeah. I mean, I was even like kind of looking at it, like just looked up real quick, like serious coming of age movies, and just kind of seeing what like came up. Like, let's see, where's one? You know, Moonlight came up, but then there's a lot like Juno, Edge of 17. Then here's an example: The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I think I honestly pat my own back. I think I nailed it. It's like if you keep it in this little zone, it's going to be enjoyable. People are going to have fond memories of it and really click onto it. But then when you push it up, you're going to get more specific, more dramatic, and it's not a casual watch anymore of that's so awkward. It's a trauma fuel, and this is how these young
I tried to
people do.
rewatch that not a while ago, and I couldn't get it started triggering a lot of weird emotions in me.
And I think that's why I like this genre, is because you can, like, you know, because they're right here. So you have My Old Ass, which is this one we're kind of talking about, kind of lighter, fluffier. Perks of Being a Wallflower. 13. Booksmart.
13.
90s I can't remember who's in it. No, 2003. But book
Hey,
and then
yeah, Booksmart.
Booksmart, Moonlight. You know what I mean? It's just kind of alternating, boink 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 boink, and you're like, oh, like I haven't seen mid-90s yet, but I've heard that one's pretty good.
That one's awesome. That's not like that's a rewatchable one. That's I don't know. It's
where the
just interesting.
wild things are. That's an
I
interesting.
never watched that actually.
That got panned from what I remember.
Juno is kind of I think like the one that I feel like that has the best balance of it.
It
all.
is. I would say that Juno's probably one of the best for that awkward yet funny, then not very
because
funny.
she's super relatable. Even Michael Cera is super relatable.
Oh, Juno is super relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jason Bateman begins relatable, and then you realize that even a relatable person can be a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's a great movie.
such a great movie.
And then just like Mean Girls.
Jennifer Garner's. Oh man. All right. You want to wrap it up?
No lower than a 3.
I was gonna say a 3.
Yeah, I'm not going lower than a 3. I will give it a 3.5, but I feel like it's going to be a hard sell.
Do you want to try it?
I mean,
Is it worth it? Is it worth it to fight for a 3.5?
well, no, because to try selling it would be to repeat everything that I just said the last hour. So if I didn't convince you with that, then no. Big, I guess, kind of.
It's coming of age.
Yeah.
It's an 80s coming of age, you know.
Yeah, it's
It's weird. It's like because like
Empire of the Sun.
stop. Close the list. Just close the list. Please close the list.
That's that one got pushed.
Dear Lord.
That one's definitely coming of age. In a very particular environment. Shouldn't laugh about that. Sorry.
Okay, so like, what did we give here last week? We gave it a 2.5.
Yeah, we gave it a 2.5. And this, yeah, so a 3, I guess. 3.5 might be a little high.
Yeah.
Me personally, it's a 3.5. If we want to be at 3, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Because I mean, I guess there's just it's super digestible. It's sweet. It's everything, all of that. But at the end of the day, it was really nothing mind-blowingly. Like, it didn't change me. It did make me think about some stuff, and I was really impressed with its duality.
But yeah, I think with a movie like this, when I go into it, and we, you know, and this is me repeating myself, but it's just to put my final thought on it. You watch it for the actors and the dialogue. Mm-hmm. You're watching it for the human connection. Like you said, it's a play, and that's what it has a vibe of a play, and that's what a play is connecting with. More so, I think, than a movie. A movie is you watching the characters connect with each other, as opposed to a play is kind of everyone involved, you know? But this kind of movie is very the acting and the dialogue. If you nail that, then you nail the movie. And this got damn near close to nailing it.
Yeah.
It got pretty damn close. So, and it's stuff like that. Like the final scene just feels very Hollywood movie ending. You're like, God damn it. Like you really had this natural. And then Aubrey, she does save it with that moment, that awkward moment, which I think really encapsulates the movie of the.
Oh man, I completely remembered. It got derailed from that. Talking about the reality of Aubrey, or of the older Elliott being real.
Exists, and she's somehow time traveling.
Can you see her?
Uncle Michelle.
Yeah.
Uncle Michelle. Yeah. But like, you know, and then she really brings it home because that's also, you know, that encapsulates the movie is like the kid is awkward and like, why is this strange woman hugging me so long? But she's embracing him because she hasn't seen him. Let's assume let's just give it, they never give a number, but Stella's 18. She hasn't seen him since they were 20. Let's just say they had 2 happy years together before he passed away.
I was going to say like 10.
Well, yeah, whatever. But I'm just saying a certain amount of time has happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great shot. And that really saved. You kind of forgot about the awkwardness of that dialogue. You know?
Yeah.
But because, again, you're watching it for the interactions and the connection between the two.
There's something about the awkwardness that they are acting in the movie as well that I could never really tell if I felt it, if it really felt genuine.
What, between Chad and
The
Elliott?
Yeah, his like mouth twitching and eye moving, and
what I do think is funny is
it felt like a betrayal of awkwardness as opposed to an actual awkwardness.
I felt,
but I accepted it.
I didn't like. It was really funny because I really, we're not supposed to like Chad because Chad's bad news. We don't know why he's bad news.
I disagree with that.
What?
Oh, you mean like how we're being told it?
Yeah.
Not the way he's presented.
No.
Okay.
The narrative.
Yeah.
The narrative is, and so when we first meet Chad, I had that, and then
Get away.
Then as her guard dropped, and I saw his like awkward charm, mine did too, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'm like, and then that's when I said to you, I think I was like,
what the fuck does he do?
What does he do? He doesn't seem like, and then, it was at that point in the movie, I was like, it's not going to take at this point, it'd be crazy to take some dark turn where he's like a serial killer or something.
Or like just using her for a summer hookup.
Yeah, like it would be weird at this point.
Well, and that's when I was like, I don't think it's anything that he does. I think it's something that she does. And it was, I was not correct, but it was.
You were closer than me.
Yeah.
Being like, because if we suddenly took a left turn into him being a murderer, you'd been like, what the? Your head would spin so fast.
And it is a cool way for them to bury the lead of what happens because of older Elliott being like, stay away from him. And younger Elliott is stuck on what does he do?
Well, yeah. And it's like classic kid thing. You tell them not to do something and immediately they're going to want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. That too.
It's kind of Youth 101.
But for the audience, how we keep getting this, what did he do? What did he do? We're like, yeah, what did he do? He seems so nice.
Yeah.
And then it's like, he dies. And you're like, oh, he has no control over that.
Well, yeah. And I just thought it was pretty good writing in the sense of that, as her guard went down, so did ours.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was pretty good. Like, because at first, I remember first meeting Chad, I thought he was creepy and weird when the whole lake thing. And then as you got to know him, he's like, oh, you're just awkward. You're just a kind of bizarre dude.
Like, he wasn't creeping on her, actually. He literally was like, oh, shit, you're here, too.
Yeah, like, he was just... They made you really think there's something wrong with him. And you realize, like, oh, no, you're the problem, huh? Huh, Elliott. But yeah, so I say 3.
Yeah, solid 3.
3. I have the... connection up if you want to.
Yeah.
That's Keanu Reeves to Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wrote down 3.5. Like, well, I'm giving it a 3.5.
I mean, you could really just make him whatever number you wanted over there. And there might be a part you could gaslight me so easily. I'd be like, I'm pretty okay.
Like, I wrote it down.
I'd be like, I don't think he would fucking gaslight me, but...
And I know you're not going to go through and listen to I guess you only have to listen to, like, the end of the episode.
It's true. All right.
You have a Keanu Reeves to Kristen Bell?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Join us. So that was episode 233?
Something like that.
233 of My Old Ass. We gave it a 3 out of 5. I really liked it. Personally,
I recommend to watch.
Yeah, if you like coming of age stuff, I thought this was really cute, and
if you like fun dialogue heavy indie movies,
and it's pretty. Where the place in Canada where they shot is just gorgeous. It's very, north
very
lakes and north, very green, and being Pacific Northwest person, I really enjoyed it. And then I guess we're kind of taking a big
Muskoka. Lake Muskoka.
Muskoka. So not Waka Waka.
Definitely not Waka Waka.
Waka
Waka, motherfucker.
I sincerely apologize if there was. I don't know what. If I did, I'm sorry.
I was actually trying to remember. I was like, Muskoka. I wasn't trying to like make noises. I was trying to find.
Oh, you did it.
Muskoka. See?
We're taking a big departure next week, and we're doing The Last Duel. Is that what we're gonna do?
It's a flop. It was a flop. So we're sticking with the box office.
I've been very curious about The Last Duel. I thought it looked cool. I thought the cast was great.
It has a great cast. It's a long running time. Great director, Ridley Scott. Let's not. Do you know? Does it all come back to you now?
No. What do you mean?
Like why it was a flop?
Yeah, no. Just you said Ridley Scott, and I was like,
oh wait. Oh, preparing yourself what you're about to get into.
I think I know why that it was a flop now.
Oh yeah. So what
Ridley Scott. Yeah.
Okay.
I just think that the old guard is
Yeah.
becoming the old guard, and they just are. Their style is just people are done with the young people's.
We need
done.
Megan Park to come.
Yeah, I think it's time for the switch over, which is happening because you even have
It is, really is.
Nosferatu. What's his name? Robert Eggers.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, you have the new people.
He's like
coming in.
he's like the decade and a half away from becoming the old guard. You know what I mean? Because he's been making movies for about 20 years now.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They're
Yeah.
like it just
He's at the top of his game.
You know, the James Camerons, the Ridley Scotts, the Scorseses and stuff. They're all that group. I think they're slowly. People are just not
Spielberg's
Gladiator 2. You know, like people just don't give a shit anymore. They're not.
We've seen these stories.
They're not telling stories that people are interested in seeing.
Yeah, because we've seen them already over and over and over again.
And like, it's the Tim Burton thing. Quick, get Robert De Niro on the phone.
You mean Johnny Depp?
No, for Scorsese.
Oh,
you know,
you said Tim Burton.
Well, like the Tim Burton bit, but it's like for Scorsese. Quick, get Robert De Niro on the phone. And they're gonna make another movie about
Raging Bull,
about gangsters in New York. We haven't made one of those in 2 years.
They're all Irish. Imagine that.
This time they're gonna be Italian. Like, okay, Martin, you got it, dude.
Oh God.
So I did not know it was Ridley Scott. So yes, join us next week for our episode of
The Last Duel.
The Last Duel. We'll talk about that. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. All of our promos are on there, so you can see what's coming up for the weeks that follow. Please give us a follow. So you can keep up to date. On there's our link tree, and on our link tree you can see where we're at, where we are at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, so on and so forth. Anywhere you can get your podcast listening. Tell your friends, and that is all.
It is yes.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is
Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
Waka waka.
Motherfucker.
What is that?
It's an old robot chicken joke.